Welcome back to King the Ride. Today you all are joining me back on War Tycoon, where we are going to go over the best weaponry in the game to date. Being vehicle-wise, not guns, but vehicles. Quick disclaimer, don't pay attention to anything that's down. You know how this game goes. I literally just logged on. You see the green bubble and yeah. Today we're going to be taking a look at vehicles, ships, tanks, helicopters, and of course jets. Now very quickly, this is going to be for free to play, so, and also not counting like the task stuff, so the things that you get from actually including the task stuff, but not including the missions one where you have to do missions to get them. So you who have the Abram X tank and you're like, well, this is the best tank in the game, I'm not talking to you. You who have the pay-to-win jets or the pay-to-win vehicles, and they're not really talking to you here. Talking to the free-to-play players who are doing their tasks to get their vehicles. Now, with the vehicles, you got an ATV, a Humvee, those are small. Typically, your better weapons are going to be up to the top, and that's what we have. The first thing we're going to look at is a run-and-gun type vehicle. A vehicle that you can move around with quickly and also have a gun on it. Because, yes, there is the speedy Humvee that you can pay for. Where is it? Yep, I believe he's just to the outside of that room, but these vehicles don't really have guns on them, and you kind of need a gun in this game, or you're at a severe disadvantage. Yes, it has speed, but you're still going to just get shot up. So the best run and gun vehicle, not counting the Lav AD that you can get from the spin, if you get it, of course, that one's better, is going to be the Lazar 3 APC. Let's go ahead and spawn that bad boy in. The reason why this one is so good is because, for one, it has a machine gun on it. Oh, yep, machine gun, explosive machine gun. But then it also has 4 rockets. When you're running and gunning, it's very likely you're going to run into a tank. So, an alternative to this, such as the JLTV, that yes, has javelin rockets for air support, and then also the 25mm cannon. That's great for the air, but if you're fighting a tank, it's not really going to help you that much because you can't fire it at a tank because it's not flying. This gives you more than enough seats with a very powerful weapon on top and some rockets to go with it. Now there's the run and gun vehicles, but then there are also the anti-air vehicles. Yes, specifically anti-air. Now, a big thing I will say, the two major ones, of course, is the Panzer and the Patriot. The Panzer is great, absolutely great. I got to check in a second what cannon it has on it. But it has a very powerful, I think it's just classified as an anti-air cannon. And yeah, it locks on. It takes a while to lock on, but once it's locked, it's hot. And you see the range isn't that far, but at least you have a cannon so you can also shoot at the ground if things are there. Great demo. Great demo. I don't think he's dead, though. I hope he is. Hold up. Anyway, while that's great, for anti-air purposes, the Patriot AA is just 10 steps above. That one having, what was it, 8 missiles maybe? This thing has 16. And then the locking on feature, I don't think we're going to get an air target right now. But, while I'm talking about it, it goes a lot farther. You can lock on to things very far away with this thing. And it locks on way faster. I think it takes like a second and a half to lock on to something completely, and then you're just able to fire. You fire like 2, get them to blow their flares, and then you fire. Oh, is that anti-air? No, that might just be it. Here we go, over to the side. Okay, a little bit more than that, but as you see, just a beast to try to go up against. We're locking on. Boom. That's about 2 seconds compared to the other one. Takes way longer, and this is a way farther shooting thing. The only problem is you don't have a gun for the ground, and you can't shoot the rockets out at the ground. So, really, right? If you're fighting somebody and you run into somebody on the ground, you're dead. There's nothing you can do. You can't fight back. You probably need to ditch your car and try to shoot them with daggone guns. But yeah. So yes, it has its applications. If you're going to go to a war zone where there's going to be a lot of vehicles and air support, bring the Panzer. But if somebody is just sitting there in a daggone chopper blowing up your base and stuff, just go ahead and take out the Patriot. As long as they don't shoot you on your way out, they're dead. They are absolutely dead. Now to discuss the ships. Very clearly, this has a 76 millimeter autocannon, 20 millimeter, 5 machine gun. Like this one, you have to manually shoot. This one is a bit better, but it's only 20 millimeter gun. Yes, you can put a crate on it. So if you're trying to get crates, that's great. But this one, 76 millimeter autocannon, and it's explosive. I would love to demo that, but I don't feel like loading up my Xbox to show it getting shot. But it's highly explosive, I will say. Like, you have some explosions that kind of just explode, but this one hits. And if you are hiding inside of a wall, say my shield was down and you were hiding, like, we'll say in that building there. If you were hiding in this building thinking you were safe, if you're close enough to the screen, the explosive damage can shoot you through a wall. That's even in spawn. So if people are kind of just, I'm in spawn, you can't do anything, this thing really hits. And beyond that, right, this thing is a one-shot to no armor. So right now, one of those bullets just completely kills me. It doesn't matter where you hit me. The shot just absolutely de-lifes me. Equipped with that, there are some gunners on the side. So if you want to bring some friends, this is a very powerful little cannon right here. And you can shoot it for a pretty good amount of time. Reload is quick as well. So you bring a friend with you and somebody else is using the Douglas, because this is probably the only ship you're going to see on the sea. Yeah, the gunner is going to give you a huge advantage because it helps quite a bit. Next, of course, are the tanks. Very simply put, the caliber weapon you're shooting, the bigger the caliber, probably the more damage it's going to do. So given that, we're going to look at these little tanks. We got the little M4 Sherman here that shoots a 75 millimeter cannon. Very, very powerful, but for tank standards, not really. Because the next one is a 125, the T-72. Great upgrade if you have the M4 Sherman. I think the T-72 is easy to get. So upgrade to that. That's definitely good. But then you see we're looking... Oh, somebody's shooting down my bish. But then you see we got some little weird tanks here. So we'll take a discuss of that in a minute. But let's look at the ones that are standard barrel cannon shots. See, this is a 120 millimeter. The Mouse has a 128 and then a 75. So it's got the little Sherman shot and it's got the big shot. Then the Abrams is shooting, of course, a 120 millimeter. And the T-90, 125. The T-14, 125. And, of course, the pay-to-wins. They're going to be shooting a little bit higher caliber and they're going to be dealing a lot more damage. Now, free-to-play. Best tank in the game, the T-14 Armada. Pretty much. Why? Well, it has an explosive machine gun on it and a 125 millimeter cannon. So on paper, right, that cannon is stronger. Well, the exact same, but it's stronger than the T-90 because of its explosive machine gun. This one has 2 machine guns, but they don't explode, so you're not dealing the explosive damage. Yes, it has 2, but then you have to cycle through it. So really, say you overload one cannon, you can then switch to the next machine gun and keep firing that machine gun and switch back. So this one doesn't really have a cooldown, but you'll be dealing more damage with this one. So the T-14, I got to give it to that. And then I think the health, I don't think we can we see the health? Yep. Health is a 3 on that one. Health is also a 3 on that one. So there's no real statistic to see, but I'm pretty sure the T-14 might have a little bit more health than the T-90. It might be the same, but they're very strong tanks. You don't have to worry about getting absolutely fried. You'll be in them for a while before they die, unless you're getting like absolutely barraged. But yeah. Now to talk about some of the weird tanks, we got the LOSAT, the ADATs, and the Bradley. Now the Bradley shoots 2 wire-guided missiles. Me personally, I'm not a fan of these. When they first came out, you could shoot them in the air and they would literally wire themselves to something. As long as you shot in the general direction, it would go find something. However, it's not that overpowered anymore. You have to actually hit them, and then they can outmaneuver them, and they're great missiles, but I'm just not a fan of them. Against a tank lacking the big, barrel cannon shot, that's going to kill you. You only get 2 of these wire missiles, and that's not enough to take out a tank. And you get hit by one of those tank shots, and then the explosive rounds from the T-19, not really going to give you a chance. Now, the ADATS is a little bit better. This is called an air defense anti-tank system, or anti-tank system. But if I'm not mistaken, this is 8 lock-on and laser-guided missiles. I'm pretty sure you can lock on to ground vehicles with this. Let's take a quick look, okay? And I spent about 20 minutes trying to get this demo off, but we've got a plane and we also have a fast moving oil barrel. So if it can lock onto it, then we know it works. So plane very clearly. Anti-air gun on that. As you see, for the purpose of anti-air, this thing is not very good at its job. Oh, I think we got him. Nice. Alright, let's take a look at that oil barrel. Alright, we got another plane taking off here. This is not the purpose of this. Alright, well, for the purpose of anti-air, this seems to be a heavily armored Panzer, pretty much. So the ADAT's, yeah, got the same exact machine gun on it. Got the 8 lock-on missiles, just like the other one. It's basically the tank version of the, whatchamacallit. So, no better, no worse. Does its job, I guess. But now the low side, right? 12 wire-guided missiles. Now, I know what I said about wire-guided missiles, but for the purpose of being a special tank, not one that you want to have a barrel on, or the standard barrel shotgun type. No, for the purpose of being a special type, this thing can deal some damage. If you hit somebody with 12 rockets, they're dying. No matter what tank they're in, it's over. Unless maybe the Abrams X, maybe, which by the way, we'll take a quick look at that. It's very worth it, but other than that, maybe, possibly, this is very worth it, or very good, because if you hit all 12 of those, they're dead. It's got a H2HB machine gun. If you don't know what that is, we'll go ahead and spawn it in, because I clearly don't. And, oh, it just doesn't want to shoot. Okay. You're not killing a double-plated armor or a double health-plated armored person, but they're just that is the most cute gun I've ever seen on a tank. So yeah, the big draw is the 12 missiles that yes can absolutely fry a tank, but if you don't hit them, you're kind of in trouble. Now on to something I am very familiar with: the helicopters. I'm probably most familiar with these. I've been here since the first 3 came out. The Dagon Loda. This is basically just a training thing. Military training helicopter. It can use a crate, so you can put a crate on it. That's always good. And then you have the little bird. That's the machine gun one that I used to fry shields with when it was the only plane in the game, pretty much. And then you got the Huey that has the barrage missiles, the 16 Hydra rockets. They're barrage missiles, and it also has machine guns on the side, but those are manual. You have to have another person in there in order to use them. And then we got like the Black Hawk and stuff going down the list. Here we are, the Super Stallion. That was the one that's good for picking up crates. Doesn't have a weapon on the main thing, but yeah, the Apache. The Apache is great. If you're just starting, the Apache will fry most things out of the air. That's the perfect training thing on how to use missiles, because it has 8 lock-on missiles, and then it has the 30mm explosive turret, which I don't remember that having that, but it's basically a machine gun. So it's got the machine guns on it, and it also has the rockets that you can lock onto people. That's the perfect training thing. You get to the Alligator. It's got 24 barrage rockets, so if you're trying to take out a shield or a ground target, like a tank, this is great for. Just unload your payload, fly off, come back. This is great for those applications, but like fighting in the air, not really good. Yes, it has 2 machine guns compared to the Apache's 1 machine gun, but that one's a 30mm machine gun. That one's going to be like the baby one we just saw in the tank. So, yeah, not really good for that. The Eurocopter has 8 lock-on missiles, which is great, but it has the machine guns on it. This was my personal favorite to use above the Apache because it gives me my machine gun, so I can get a little bit of damage doing that. Then I can also get the 8 lock-on missiles. I don't like the Alligator because, you know, the barrage missiles are gone. That's kind of everything, and you have no lock-ons. This is the version of the Apache that's a bit better. 2 machine guns as opposed to 1 machine gun. It's a bit better. Now, This is the best free-to-play thing in the game. Or not thing in the game, but helicopter in the game. The Invictus. Oh boy. 8 lock-on missiles. And an explosive machine gun. Now that might not sound like much to you at all, but my friend, the explosive machine gun is what makes this thing so special. It absolutely shreds if you hit your shots. If you hit your shots on a plane, it shreds. The explosive damage, if you shoot the front of a plane, which is probably what you're going to be shooting at, you hit your shots, it's dealing damage to the person piloting. You don't even have to worry about the plane. Not to mention the 8 lock-on missiles that it has. It's very good. And this is my personal favorite at the moment. But, you know, we're going to take a look and give respect to the Havoc and the Hind. The Hind is the one I'm going to talk about now because it's the Daily Challenges one. This one has the 3 explosive machine guns, so way higher firepower, and 14 barrage rockets. This is the pay-to-win one that you get 3 different missile types and explosive machine gun. It's better. But the Invictus is where you need to go. Finally, and very importantly, I cannot stress this enough. Listen up. The planes. You start out with the P-51 Mustang, right? The very first thing I would suggest you do is get the B-29 Super Fortress. This is a bomber plane that can eat shields alive, pretty much. And it has a very special gun on it. It says 5 Browning machine guns that you don't have to shoot. What do you mean you don't have to shoot? Yeah, it shoots them for you. I could get in the air and demonstrate. I don't think anybody's flying. So, yeah, but I have so many clips with this thing. As long as you can stay in the air and fly around, there's going to be jets and stuff flying around you faster. So as long as you can maneuver and go side to side, it's very maneuverable. This is not realistic at all. But as long as you can not get hit, it will deal the damage for you. It had, like, the 5 machine guns, it does have a cooldown on it, but they get good damage off, and the cooldown is not that bad. As long as you're flying around the target and you don't die in the air, it will keep shooting until that target is dead, pretty much. That's all you have to worry about. This thing is a beast. It's very great for some of the other missions where you have to get kills and stuff like that, or take out the enemy planes. Me personally, I have the MiG-29 Fulcrum, I have the A-10 Warthog, and I'm working on the other stuff. But I would much rather hop in the Super Fortress than one of those to try to get kills, or try to get helicopter downs, or try to get plane downs. You know why? Because this thing just locks on. The other ones are hard to shoot. Most of the time you get shot by a Patriot. That's what's going to happen. Anytime you're in the air, somebody's friend is going to come and just shoot you down in a Patriot, and you really don't have time. So yeah, it's fun to dogfight with these things, but if you need the kills, get in a Super Fortress and just fly around. I can't stress that enough. This thing is not the best. It's not the best plane, but it is the best cheap plane from the beginning, and it's one of the most special. One of the most special. So that's all I'll say about that. And then going forward, we will say the best in the game is the Eurofighter Typhoon. The Eurofighter Typhoon, what about the F-16? Well, let's do the breakdown. 20mm autocannon on this one. This boy's packing a 27mm. The highest caliber I've seen on a plane, let's check that big one, you know, the F-35, 25mm. Okay, good. The Harrier, one of these have like a 30mm. There it is. The A-10 Warthog, you know, that one, the Gatling gun. Yeah, this one, that can't be beaten in any sense. But the closest thing to it is the 27mm. It's a step above, of course, the F-35's gun. Even though, isn't this one explosive? No. Oh no, it's just 25mm. So yeah, it's a step above that one. And it has 6 lock-on missiles. 6 lock-on missiles. The problem with planes is that they don't have a lot. Like my A-10, it's got a lot on it. It's got 2 air lock-on missiles and 4 bombs, and then it's got the 30mm gun that draws everybody's attention. But no, it only has 2 air lock-on missiles. So if you're trying to get something out of the air and you have 2 of them, remember they have a flare. If you shoot one, they're probably going to pop their flare. You only have 1 to hit. You only have 1 to hit. And that's not dealing enough damage. It's not like this one is super buffed or anything. And then this one has 4. This one has 4. You know, it's cool, but we're seeing the highest is 4. This one now has 6. 6 air-only lock-on missiles, so the MiG is pretty good. But the only one that gets rid of that is the Eurofighter. It's got 6 lock-on missiles, and it's not air-only lock-on missiles. No. You can lock on to things on the ground with this thing, too. Pretty much. It has 6 lock-on missiles, anything you need to shoot at, with the highest caliber weapon that's not the highest caliber weapon. It's the next best thing, pretty much. So, very important. The Eurofighter is the best. But before you get this thing, because the task, I'm still working on it. Let's see how I'm doing. You know, I'm going to go ahead and going to expose myself here. Let y'all see my stats. 2 out of 65. Yeah. But anyway, I am really looking forward to this thing. Now, we're going to wait out a bit so I can say 2030. You know, 2030, that's the point that you skip to. And we are going to recap right now. Alright, so the best things in the game. As for the planes, you're going to be using the Eurofighter Typhoon. It's got 6 lock-on missiles. You can shoot ground and air targets with a 27mm cannon. The highest caliber is a 33 or a 30mm, but this is the next best thing in the game, and it hits like a truck. For the helicopters, you want to arm yourself with the Invictus. You'll have the explosive machine gun that absolutely fries vehicles. If you're shooting a plane head-on, you can pretty much blow somebody out of it because you're dealing explosive damage. And you also have 8 lock-on missiles that you can use for anything. The problem with the lock-on missile system is that it's not very far in the Invictus. So you will have to get close, but as long as you can fly well, this thing is a beast. As for the tanks, the standard cannon barrel system. The best tank in the game is going to be the T-14 Armada. Why? We're shooting the highest caliber cannon, the 125mm. That's the same to the T-90, but the T-90 has 2 machine guns as opposed to, of course, the explosive machine gun. You're dealing more damage. Now, the T-90 you can switch and the cooldown can be reduced, but the T-14 deals more damage. So, in total, you want the T-14. Now, for the special tanks, you know, the ones that anti-air or whatever, the ADATS is basically a upgraded version of the Panzer. We will take a look at that in a second. And the LOSAT is going to be your best thing. It's got 12 wire-guided missiles. As long as you shoot in the direction, it has a chance for it to like lock on and hit them. I don't know how it works, but if you shoot in the direction, it's like an upgraded barrage missile. It has a higher chance of hitting the target, and it deals heavy damage. You hit all 12 of these, you're taking out pretty much any tank in the game. Now for vehicles, the run and gun type. The best running gun type in the game for free right now is the Lazar. You get your huge 30mm cannon that deals heavy damage, and then you also get 4 rockets to go with it. Not great for shooting down air targets, but neither is anything else in this game. In fact, let's talk about our anti-air vehicles. We're looking at the Patriot and the Panther. Those are the big ones. There might be some more, but those are the big ones. The Panther has a machine gun on it. It's basically the other one, the tank that I just told you about, but it has a machine gun. If you're fighting in an area where there's going to be ground vehicles and air vehicles, take the Panther, because at least then you can defend yourself from the ground. The Patriot, however, is 10 times better, 100 times better at 16 times better, we'll say that, at taking out air targets. The problem is, right, it doesn't have a gun, and you cannot shoot at ground vehicles. So, if you're not shooting at something in the air and something's on the ground, you're dead. You're either getting out of your car and shooting with the gun, or they're going to fry you in your vehicle. There's nothing you can do. You can run, hide, escape, flee the facility. But very quickly, why it is better, it has a way faster lock-on time with way farther range with 16 rockets. You could shoot 4 of those things to get them to pop their flare, and then you can shoot the rest of the 12, and nothing in the air is surviving that. Not a thing. Alright, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one.